Grain-free apple crisp made without refined sugar? Yes. Today I'm going to show you how I make my easy grain-free apple crisp that is SCD friendly, GAPS diet friendly, and paleo friendly. If you're just on your grain-free diet and are looking for lower carb, this is the recipe for you. I have been making this apple crisp for a long time. It's one of my favorite recipes. It's very easy. It's very basic, so a lot of people like to make it, especially in the beginning stages of the diet, because it just takes a few ingredients and it's very simple. If you want to save it, you can find it on my website, or you can find it in my cookbook, Don't Skip Dessert, Volume 2. I'm gonna start out by mixing my topping ingredients, and so I've got my 1.5 cups of almond flour, a 1/4 cup of softened butter, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt mixed together there. Now you might notice there is no sweetener. Now, as I noted, there is no sugar in the topping, so you're not going to get that caramelized topping that an apple crisp usually has, so that's a sacrifice. But you know, we're going for those traditional flavors, and you're still going to get that with this dessert. So I've got my almond flour here, my spices. I just put cinnamon. If you want to add any other spices that you like, and allspice, nutmeg, cardamom, whatever you like, you could add it. I just like to do my apple crisp with cinnamon. And then I've got my butter here, my 1/4 cup butter. I cut it up a little bit. It's soft, so it kind of mushed a little bit. The butter, you don't want it, you want it soft enough to mix with, but not melted, because the butter is going to help give it that crumbly texture that we want. So we just need to mix this together. If you have a pastry cutter, that would work great. I actually don't have one. I always just use a fork. So I just start mixing the butter in here and getting it incorporated. And it'll take a little bit of work here, especially if you're just using a fork like I am, and to get that all mixed together. But we'll just keep working at it until it is ready. Once the butter starts to get broken up, I usually just end up using my hands to get this to really work together. So you can do that. If you don't want to use your hand, make sure you wash your hands and just get that all pushed together until you get a nice crumbly texture. All right, so we got this all mixed together. It's all crumbly. Don't worry, it's kind of, you know, it's very small pieces. It's a little bit of a loose, crumbly mixture, but that's okay, because it's just going to go on top, and it's going to incorporate with the natural liquid that's going to be in your crisp. So this is perfect. So we'll just set this aside while we get our filling ready. Okay, so I have my filling ingredients here. I've got 4 apples, kind of medium to largish. I've got 2 Granny Smith and 2 Honeycrisp. I like the mixture. You can use any kind of baking apple that you like or have on hand. I've got a 1/4 cup of honey, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and another teaspoon of cinnamon. Like I said earlier, you can mix up the spices if you have some other fall spices that you like with apple crisp, or if you don't like cinnamon and you have another spice combo you like, you can feel free to change that. But it's 1 teaspoon. So I'm just going to peel and chop these apples. Like I said, they were washed. Even if you're peeling them, you still want to wash them. Anything that you're taking a knife through the skin and touching what you're going to eat, you want to wash it. Even though we're cooking it, wash your apples always. So we just want kind of smallish cubes, 1/2 inch or so. Want them to be close to the same size so it cooks evenly. I'm not super, precise about it. So some will be smaller than others, but I try to keep it pretty close. My apples are peeled and chopped, so I'm just going to add my lemon juice and stir that around. Lemon juice helps apples that have been peeled from getting brown, so you want to get that on. Sometimes I'll do it midway through the chopping and peeling, as I go, just to keep the ones that get done first from browning at all, especially if it's like really hot. But this was okay today, so I just did it all at once. Another little tip, I keep a little garbage bowl there that I put all my peels and cores and stuff in, and then I can just toss that. Easy cleanup. Next I'm adding my cinnamon. Stir that around. Until it kind of coats all the apples. Got that going. And my honey. So get the honey on there and just stir that. All right, so that is ready, and then I'm just going to get my pan ready. I like to let this sit here for a couple minutes because it gets even juicier, so that's why I haven't got my pan ready yet. I'm just going to let this sit for a second. To prepare my baking dish, I just get some coconut oil and use a paper towel and just rub it around until everything is coated. So you don't want to melt, you don't need to melt the coconut oil. It just needs to be soft enough that you can spread it around. So if your coconut oil is totally hard, you'll have to soften it up a little bit, but if it's at room temperature, it should be fine. So just coat the pan like that, and we're ready to go. All right, so we're gonna put the apples in here. Get all the nice honey and juices here. So get that all in there. And now we're just going to put our topping over the top here. So we got the crumble. And just going to get it on here and then I'll spread it out a little better. But got that on there. Right. So nice layer over all the apples. See, it's completely covered. Alright, so perfect. And then we're going to put this in the oven and bake it at 350 degrees. So before we put it in the oven, bake it, actually, we're going to cover it. You want it covered. I use aluminum foil. If you have another kind of cover, you can use that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that in the oven.
So I'm just going to bake this with the covering on for 25 minutes. This helps the apples get cooked and soft and all juicy. And then we'll take that off and then we'll cook it the rest of the way so we can brown up the top, crisp up the top a little bit without the cover.
So I've had this baking for about 25 minutes, and so I'm going to uncover it. And cook it uncovered for another 25 minutes. This will crisp up the outside and brown it up, and so it'll get nice and bubbly. And then we will have it. Just going to show you, I just got this out of the oven, so you can see that it crisped up a little bit, browned up a little bit on the top. And we got some of those juices coming through a little bit, which is how we love it. So we're going to let this cool down before we dig into it.
This has cooled down a little bit, so I am going to get some out of here. So we've got our nice cooked apples, our topping, and it's nice. The apples are nice and soft, and there's a little liquid here. So I'm going to serve this with my tart vanilla frozen yogurt. Like I mentioned, you can use some honey in the topping. I've done it that way a lot of times, but I kind of like the crispier topping where it's a little drier and then it blends with your filling to give you that taste, a little more crunch to it than if you mix honey and it kind of makes more of a dough.
Here I have it with my tart vanilla frozen yogurt on top, which I love the taste of cooked apples and yogurt. So the frozen yogurt gives you that ice cream taste, so it's the best of both worlds. So let's give it a try.
So yes, this has that nice creamy cinnamony warm apple crisp flavor combined with the vanilla frozen yogurt. It's just really good. So I hope you enjoy this recipe as much as I do, and let me know in the comments what you think.